guys, I hope my voice is achieving you well. So today I heard that almost all of you are JavaScript developers, and sorry? Yeah. So I heard that almost all of you are JavaScript developers, so I'm pretty sure that at least once in your lifetime you have initialized Git on your repository. So this is where I'll start to talk and where I will try to deep dive into what Git Hooks are, and I'll try to bring you to the world of shell scripts. Let's see how it goes. Okay, before moving into the next slide, I assume that you're not convinced that inside all the repository you have under Git, you have Git Hooks installed by itself. And since it's not very visible from just me being here and talking to you, I'll try to show you what I mean, and after that I'll try to continue talking about it a bit more. All right, so what I want to do right now is, it's my desktop, and I will just open my projects folder, and here probably you see Git Hooks demo that was made for today. And here it's just a very simple initial React application with having node modules, package.json, and etc. Nothing special, but just in the moment you try to open the hidden folders and files, you will see that there is much more than you are able to see right now. So at least on the macOS, you just press Command, Shift, and dot. I'll try to do that right now. And yeah, here it is. So we have a lot of hidden files and folders, but my interest now is inside Git. And in Git, we have hooks. So this is something that I didn't do by myself, and all the time you initialize Git on your repository, you already have them predefined. At this point, I assume that the world of shell scripts is a bit more understandable for you, and now I will talk what they are, what they do, why they are helpful, etc. And probably right now I'll need a bit help regarding slides. So let's continue our topic about what Git Hooks exactly are. And here they are. So Git Hooks are just ordinary scripts that run automatically every time a particular event occurs in a Git repository. They also let us to customize our Git's internal behavior and trigger customizable actions at the key points in the development lifecycle. And all of us knows what is the key point, right? So committing, pushing, etc. And they are quite easy to install and configure. While talking about hooks, we should know that there are local and remote hooks. And just talking about local, I mean client hooks. And talking about the remote ones, I talk about server-side hooks. There are differences, of course, between them, and client-side hooks are triggered by operations such as committing and merging, while server-side hooks run on network operations such as pre-receiving, pushed commits, updating, and post-receiving. Here you will just see the image representation, how it happens. So local repository, imagine, is my computer where I have files to commit, and before this line that's please push word, everything happens on my local machine. Just after minutes, I push my changes, then pre-receive, post-receive, and update happens on the remote repository. Since I'm not a pro in CI/CD, or I'm not a backend developer, and I'm just a front-end one, I will very simply go through server-side hooks, and we'll talk more about client-side hooks. So as I already mentioned, server-side hooks run custom logic on the Git server. Users can use them to run Git-related tasks. So what are Git-related tasks? You see on the screen, they are pre-receive, post-receive, and update. important thing is that whenever you use pre-hooks, whatever it is, it gives you the ability to alter something, to change something, or just to have any kind of impact. And I will talk what kind of impact it can have. While all the post hooks are used only notifications. So imagine for example, want to use post receive hook, and I can only send a notification that, okay, I am a remote server and everything was received successfully, something like that. Moving on to local hooks, I will try to deeper, and I'll firstly say that they affect only the repository in which they reside. I already mentioned that local hooks are the ones that live on our local machine, and the most useful local hooks are pre-commit, prepare commit message, post-commit, post-checkout, pre-rebase, and pre-push. But still, in these most useful local hooks, we have two, the most useful hooks. They are pre-commit and pre-push. Same goes for all the pre and all the post, also in terms of, while talking about local hooks. So as I already mentioned, the most useful ones are pre-commit and pre-push, and that's why I decided to bring your mind into here. So let's firstly take a look on the image that is here on the right-hand side. So we have, whenever we change something on our file system, and not file system, but inside our project, we stage our changes, then we commit our changes. Whenever commit happens, pre-commit hook can run, and commit message gets written by us, of course, then post-commit happens, and after that we can write git push. What happens in a nutshell is that pre-commit hook is executed every time you run git commit before Git asks the developer for a commit message or generates a commit object. We all know that whenever we write git commit -m, that is a commit message, right? We all have to write a message. This is something that Git requires. But before we write any kind of message, pre-commit hook gets run. It's interesting to know that no arguments are passed to the pre-commit script. You can do anything you want in the pre-commit, including executing other scripts, running a third-party test suite, or checking code style with linters. And the important thing that has impact on all the hooks is that existing with a non-zero status aborts the entire commit. And just to make it more clear, I'll try to read this kind of piece of code. So we here try to check for white space errors. So in our commit message, we want to do that. What do? Is that inside pre-commit hook, we write this kind of statement, give div index check something. So this is what we ask Git to do for us. Pre-commit hook gets run, and either it exits with 1 and it aborts our commit due to white space errors, or it exits with 0. That means that everything went okay and there are no errors, so we are ready to go. Now let's move to pre-push hook, and I'll try to speak a bit about that, and then I'll go through the image that I have also in here. So pre-push runs during git push after the remote refs have been updated, but before any objects have been transferred. Pre-push hook gets called by git push. So what it means is that whenever we write git push, pre-push hook gets automatically run, and it has but before anything has been actually pushed. The same goes for here. If the script exits with a non-zero status, nothing will be pushed. And what most of the developers do usually is that they run tests while pre-push hook. So here I have 1 total tests. I wrote too much, and that 1 test failed. And what happened was that command failed with exit code 1. So it was non-zero. It means that there was something wrong while pre-push hook happened, and that's why nothing got pushed to my remote repository. It means that my commit is still here, but push did not happen, so remote was not updated. Okay. So it's a very interesting and lovely point of my presentation, and I'll explain why. So sometimes we want to skip the validations, right? It happens for two reasons, but mainly I think for one reason, and it's the following. Imagine you are working and somehow it is your vacation time, you had a very big story assigned to you, and somehow you didn't manage to bring it till the end. What you do is, oh, I'm really sorry. So what you do is you push your changes, even though maybe your white space errors are not done, or maybe your lint still has some problems with your code, or maybe your tests are failing, so you just did not manage to fulfill everything. You can avoid any kind of validations with no verify flag. It works for commit and push as well, so whenever you want to skip any kind of validation, you just add no verify flag to your commit or push, and that's it. Also, the second scenario and very usual one is that you have a very specific bug you are not able to fulfill, and what you do, you either call the other developer in your team and ask to do it together with a screen share and stuff, or you still simply push your changes with no verify and the other developer is able to take a look whenever he or she wants. All right, so the kind of finalization of local hooks would be the main characteristics of local hooks. So hooks are local to any given Git repository, and they are not copied over to the new repository when you run git clone. And please move to the next slide. And the main question comes into play. How do we maintain hooks for a team of developers? So as I said, I have a repository, I have my local hooks, I did something, I altered the hooks, so everything goes fine onto my machine, but maybe I want some kind of centralization over the team, and I want on every pre-commit hook to run linters, no matter it's me or other developer in the team. How do we do that? A very simple solution for it is to store your hooks in the actual project directory above the Git directory itself. It means that whenever you push your changes, also the hooks get to the remote, and whenever cloning, you also get those hooks on your machine. And an alternative way is a template directory mechanism that makes it easier to install hooks automatically. Honestly speaking, I have never used template directory mechanism. It's just the knowledge, very theoretical I have, but anytime you are interested to broaden your knowledge or use this template directory mechanism, of course, all the developers are more than welcome. And now, finally, the main purpose of my today's speech was Husky, modern native Git hooks made easy. So what I did before was just to give you an idea and bring you to Husky. So what Git hooks are, why they are useful, how they work, how they help us to develop clean code and to have no test failures on the remote or whatever. So Husky is a very popular NPM package that has million downloads a month, and it allows custom scripts to be run against your repository. And the most importantly is Husky works with any project that uses package.json file. This is the only requirement that Husky has. Now let's talk more about Husky. So what does Husky do? Husky automates the process of adding hooks. When the project dependencies are installed, Husky will make sure that all hooks will be installed in the developer's machine locally for that particular project based on the configs in the package.json file. So simply speaking, you have Husky on your project, you are a new developer in the team, you clone the project, and everything comes just the way the other developers have. This makes it very easy to manage and distribute hooks as no manual invention is required. And now talking about steps, hooks get created locally, hooks are run when the relevant Git command is called, and the policy that defines how someone can contribute to a project is enforced. What do I mean by the last one is that maybe on every commit you want and you need the commit message message to include the ticket number, or maybe your project requires to add the date whenever you committed your changes. Everything can be defined with the help of hooks. One of them that is prepare commit message. We can go to the next slide. More uses of Husky in practice. So Husky has the ability to run any command which is combined with other packages. And by other packages, we mean prettier, linters, whatever. Also, we can run tests. Husky has the ability to validate commit messages with the use of commit message similar to pre-commit rules. And we can use the pre-commit, pre-push commands to run all our unit tests and integration tests, which make sure that we don't commit any breaking changes. And the last part, features of Husky, is that it has 0 dependencies and it's really very lightweight. It's powered by modern new Git features, core Git Hooks path. It follows NPM and Yarn best practices regarding auto install. It has pretty user-friendly messages. It is optional to be installed, and Husky 4 supports macOS, Linux, and Windows, Git GUIs as well, custom directories, and mono repos. That's all about my verbal communication to you. And at the last part, I want to show you everything on the project itself. So I will open my VS Code, even though I'm not going to do any live coding here because I did it at home. I will still bring you and show you how helpful Husky can be. Does it got here? Is it good? Okay. So, as I showed you before, I have a very simple React project in here. Nothing special. And I'll make you sure that there is nothing special if I run yarn start. But firstly, I'll check my node version. So yeah, here it is, the basic one. But interesting thing is package.json for the first time for us. So whenever you decide to install Husky, and the command is pretty straightforward, yarn install Husky or npm install yarn add Husky or npm install Husky, what it does is that it adds to our scripts prepare, that is Husky install. And it does a couple of things as well, but I'll not go too deeper into that. And what I want you to do is just to take a look on the Husky folder that gets created automatically. So there was 0 involvement by me other than installing Husky. So the Husky folder got created, and also pre-commit and pre-push hooks got automatically created for me. What I will show you firstly is pre-commit hook. So there is almost nothing written in the pre-commit hook, and if I show you what is in the default Git hooks, you will see what a great difference it has. So pre-commit is a default Git hook, and if I show you, you will see that maybe you will not see it very clearly, but you will see how much it has here and how hard is it to read, etc. And inside Husky, you see that only thing that you have to write is what is the command you want to run whenever pre-commit happens. And in my case, it's lint staged. Let's see, lint staged, but what should it do? We go to package.json file, we check for lint staged, and we see that it has a couple of things inside. So what it does, it checks for ESLint and prettier for all the JS, TS, and TSX files. So whenever I run pre-commit hook, it checks for all the JavaScript files and runs ESLint and prettier for me. Okay, so let's move to the pre-push hook, and after that I'll show you how it actually works. And in pre-push hook I also have written nothing but only whatever is highlighted here. Yarn test no watch. And also the test no watch comes from package.json file, and here you see that when we try to push, the pre-push hook gets run and just testing happens. Nothing special, nothing very hard or anything. Okay, so what I will do is I'll just change something in my app.tsx file, maybe 1, 2, 3. I'll save my changes. You see that there are some changes visible for me here. And what I'll do is firstly stage my changes, then try to commit my test commit. But no, maybe I'll do something more interesting that will also finalize my presentation and do something like that. Thank you. And let's see how it goes. So I'll do git add once more. Where's my commit? Well, I'll commit with very useful message here. And you will see that linter is running. Here, my lint is prepared, lint stage is preparing, stuff like that. So it just ran linter and prettier for me in the whole application. Now I want to push, right? So whenever I type git push, it should firstly run pre-push hook. And I have, as I already told you, one very simple test in here. And let's try to modify that and see how it goes. Okay, still there is something that I need to do once more. Git add, git commit. Everything for the prettier is fine. And now let's try git push. Let's see how it goes. It started to run tests, and one of my tests are failing. I have just written something very stupid here. I just wanted my test to fail. And you see the same screenshot, same message that you saw on the screenshot on my presentation, that comment failed with the exit code 1. So it means something went wrong for my tests. But if I make it back, and if I do the same things once more, still commit should be fine. And I think also in this case, git push should go fine. My test started, my tests have passed. And yeah, that's it. I managed to push my changes on the remote when all the linters are fine with me, prettier is fine with me, and also tests work for me. And let's see what I have as a result, and I have thank you. So that's all. Okay.
Yeah, let's be predictive. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was very interesting as well. And I have used Husky myself in my project. But actually, it didn't last long because, like you mentioned, there is this little hack with no verify to skip everything. And that's what my developers used to do very often. So it didn't make sense. So my question is there a way to force, these hooks? Yeah, not. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but still, maybe there is a way to not allow, or even to turn off somehow, maybe in some configurations or something, this possibility to skip.
Yeah, I've got the question, and I will be honest and say I don't know, because almost
I didn't know.
Yeah, what we do is if somebody commits something and the team lead or whoever says that there is something wrong with the push or with the changes at least, we always go to the person and ask, why did you do that?
Exactly. That's
probably there should be, but I'm really not sure. So it's a matter of investigation, and it's quite a good question, I must say.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. And if I remember correctly, we've had an issue with Husky, such as that it wasn't working correctly when the package JSON file wasn't in the root of the project and was a bit deeper. So I want to ask you if you have stumbled upon such an issue. If yes, have you managed to work some workaround around it? Or maybe do you know if they have fixed it already?
Yeah, so maybe I'll show you something in here. So inside pre-push and pre-commit hooks, we see this one, right? So maybe, honestly speaking, we always have a very standard structure. Package JSON file is on the root and no, but I'm pretty sure that it's possible to run Husky just from wherever you want. Because maybe also for the mono repos, right? So there are sometimes projects where frontend and backend combine together, and Husky supports mono repos. It means that it has the ability to read some kind of comment, maybe from some other place, and some frontend comments from frontend, maybe folder, and backend from backend. And it's also possible for those two projects, I mean frontend and backend, to have different package JSON files, right? So it's possible. I have not done that, but I'm pretty sure it's possible.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, thank you for the presentation, and I have such a question. How much time do all the scripts have before everything fails? Because on my project we had such an issue that all the tests were passing just when we started them from the command line, but when we tried to commit or to push, I don't remember exactly, but anyways, it took too much time for the tests and linters, and Husky just failed, and we had to get rid of Husky. So maybe there is some workaround how to extend time Husky to wait, and to wait for all the tests to finish.
Okay, so are you sure that it was a problem with Husky?
I'm not sure about Husky, but the problem was with the pre-commits, because maybe it was Git, but anyways, it was the problem with hooks. And the tests didn't have time to finish, and it all failed. So maybe there is a way to extend time for waiting the hooks.
Okay, I've got it. So first of all, I'll say that it's not fault of Husky, because Husky is just a script runner that makes it easier to run script. So I have faced the issue when there was some kind of too much waiting, and some things just did not get committed or pushed on the remote repository, but it definitely was not because of Husky. It was just because the memory was not enough, and that's why the processes were not able to be finished. So I'm sure there is no Husky issue. You just have to kind of increase the size limit, and it's done in the package.json file. But unfortunately, I don't remember exactly how it's written and how, but I have used that. And if you want, maybe I'll try to see that after some time and share it with you. But definitely no, it's not related with Husky. Yeah, there is, yeah. Honestly speaking, I still think that it's a matter of memory, because while running tests, you need some memory, right, to process. And if the memory is not enough, then it means that some processes are not just able to be finished. And that's why tests fail, because it was not able to finish all of them. Also, it depends on the network as well, because I remember some time ago, I was working on a project and I was working with a VDI, and the network connection was terrible. So my tests were running something like maybe 20 minutes sometimes, but we were using Husky and we did not have any issues. So that's why I'm that sure that it's not a matter of Husky.
Hi. So thank you for the presentation. One small question, maybe it's a karma test, I don't know, but please be honest. How often do you use the no verify hook? Sorry, tag. Yeah.
I'll be honest and I'll say that I have never used no verify.
Wow, God bless you.
Because if I have some problem, I just call my teammate and we do it together with screen share.
Okay, hi, my name is still Evgeny. Thank you for the presentation. I have a short question. Does Husky support other languages than shell scripting for shell scripts, so for scripts?
So as I already had in the presentation, it supports all kinds of projects that use package.json file.
Yeah, but I mean Z scripts, pre-commit and pre-push for that are in the Husky folder. Can those scripts can be written in, I don't know, Node.js, Python, Perl, or anything?
Yeah, of course. So I don't think that if a project is not using package.json, you can use Husky, and you can't. I can say that. But pre-commit and pre-push hooks can run on all the things that just initializes Git, because they are Git scripts. Maybe you are not using...
They're shell scripts, they're not just Git scripts.
Yeah, they are shell scripts powered by Git.
Well, yeah, but I need custom solution for that. But so my question was, is Husky supports that from itself? So yeah, because I see including a Husky shell, and I mean, well, maybe is it necessary, and does Husky includes other languages, so you can include in other language that file, not Husky as Ash.
Yeah, so for Node.js, definitely, because it uses package.json. But for other languages, not sure, because I'm a JavaScript developer, so that's what I know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. It was really clear and awesome. I want to add something, and again, not a question. I had troubles with Husky at the 4 major version of Husky. Contributors decided to change the license of the package, and they put APGL license on this software, and you actually can't use Husky for free if it's Husky 4.5 version. But after the 6th version of Husky, they changed it back to MITI version. So I'm actually do not trust Husky's contributors because of that decision. But it's fully understandable. They just want to have money. And during this time, between 4 and 6 version, I find out another solution for hooks, for Git Hooks management. It's actually will be a nightmare if you write shell files by yourself as a JS developer, because it's all good and rocks when all of your team work on macOS or work on Linux, but where one of you work on Windows, one of you work on macOS, it will be a nightmare to maintain this shell script. So I recommend to search for a package called Left Hook. It's a package from Evil Merchants contributions, and they support all of the Husky functionality. They lightweight as Husky, only 1 kilobyte for this package, and they also support external languages hook, as someone questioned here about that. So I recommend to explore this package. Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah, I'll definitely investigate that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Medya, for your presentation, and all you for your questions. And one other thing, Medya, can you please tell us which question was the best for you? And let's get.
Okay, I was trying to avoid this question and I was going there, but okay. It's hard. It's really hard, but probably the question by the yes, because it's really interesting. Because since I'm not using any other languages, I have never investigated that, but it's really interesting. I didn't have exact answer, and probably this was the best question for me.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, thank you, Medya, and let's say thank you for our speakers again.